Comics and powered by the Red 5 Network. For more, visit red5.bio.link.
Good morning. How are you? It's Friday, January 16th, 2026. It is blustery outside here in Southeast Missouri. How are you? I'm on the water. I've had my coffee. I'm awake. I don't know about you guys, but I am ready for the weekend. Woo! We have had a crazy news cycle over the last 24 hours in our beautiful little nerdy realm, and we are going to dive into it. Kathy Kennedy is officially leaving the building. Is it right now? Is it tomorrow? Was it yesterday or the day before? We don't know. Non-specific, but we're going to dive into it. George R.R. Martin has thrown the gauntlet down. He has spewed fire at HBO and Ryan Condal. He is sick of their poop, so to speak. We're going to get into that too. So we got a few things, and we're going to gab. We're going to hang out. No big whoop. It's going to be fun. I'm still in my jammy pants because, wow, Danielle. Wow. Can't get that up there. Yeah, there we go. My silky jammy pants. Because, you know, I'm dragging ass today. A little bit. I'm a little disappointed in myself, but it's fine. I got some exciting stuff to talk about today. Not just about everything going on in our lovely nerdy world. I have some fun information about Veiled Legacy as well. Oh, what's Veiled Legacy, you ask, for people who don't know? Legacy, my comic book that is in progress right now. A grisly family tragedy reveals more to a set of twins than just unending trauma, obviously. Their eyes are opened up to a world of superpowers, the supernatural, and the keys to family secrets that hold more keys to what happened that night and to protecting the world as we know it. Vampires, Greek myths, and more weapons and a prosthetic leg than James Bond has in his legendary Aston Martin. Sound good? Hell yeah, it does. Check out patreon.com/comics and to follow my comic book journey and be a part of the action yourself. You get to help pick out names. You get to see all the behind the scenes fun and see and hear all the notices and updates before anyone else. Every Friday, I upload a video blog letting you know what is going on in the world of Veiled Legacy. I have a huge announcement that I announced this morning because I just found out this morning about Veiled Legacy. I just found out. I posted it on the Patreon. Let everyone know. I let my Red 5 family know because they are my family, and I have to let my Nerdling Army family know as well. Very excited. Not only do I have the legendary, the coolest ever, my new best friend, Miss Caro Brown, as my editor. She herself, a comic book writer and author. She has her comic book Dirty Deeds #1 available for pre-order right now. But the artist for that book, the artist for Dirty Deeds, Mr. Evan Scale, is going to be my artist for Veiled Legacy. I just heard back from him today. So I'm very, 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 very excited. I have a goal of $175 that I want to hit. My first goal. I'm going to, in 2 weeks, start working with him on some concept art, which isn't going to cost $175. I promise you that. It's not going to cost that much. But I want to stack some art to really show you guys what my vision is. But it's really cool to have a team now and legendary team members that work with the amazing Rippaverse. I mean, come on, get excited because I'm freaking stoked. I'm so stoked. So we have a goal of $175 that we got to hit. I'm going to make a little, little thing, thermometer, whatever. I'm breezy. I don't know. I'm going to make a little graphic to demonstrate where we're at in the money thing. I had a talk with the lover face, the fake husband. God love him. My Dave. I had a talk with him this morning, and basically what's going to happen is I have to give up these. I have to give these up. They cost like $10 a box. But I have to give up these and my lashes. I have to give those up for the foreseeable future. So I'm not going to be as girly for quite some time. And I'm really sad about it. But would I rather have feminine fingernails and floofy lashes, or would I rather have Veiled Legacy printed, published, and in my hands? I think we know the answer to that. So if you want to help out, join the journey, join the hunt for Veiled Legacy, patreon.com/comics. And there's also that super dope QR code right there. You can chip in that way too. So very excited. Oh my God, guys, Evan Scale. So if you want to check out his work, check out Dirty Deeds, man. Big thank you to Caro, who's like, you know what? Email Evan. Tell him I sent you. God bless that woman. And please continue to send her prayers of healing and, just happiness, joy, just good vibes all around. She's still recovering from surgery. God, I love that woman. She's so cool. She's so tough. And she's still so positive. Like, I love that about her. When I'm not feeling good, like the whole world is going to effing know about it. That's just who I am. Like, I don't feel good. I'm sick. I'm sad. I hurt. It sucks. But she's just so chill about it. And I keep telling her, like, dude, you want to piss and moan? I am here. I am here for it. Please. She's like, it'll pass. I'm good. God love her. But please continue to send your prayers of healing and good vibes to my dear friend and editor. Yeah. So before we get started, remember, members and supers get their good mornings first because it's only fair. You get what you pay for, right? The love here is transactional. If you send a super, I will give you a clip in return of your choice. And we have so many options. And if you're a member, or if you give me a super that I feel is worth my time, I'm kidding. Please tell me you get my sense of humor at this point. But you can request, clips and stuff. Hopefully I have enough room. But make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, and ring the notification bell so you get notified whenever I'm back with even more of this nerdy nonsense. Good morning, Ensign Deranged Lunatic. Awesome members only watch party last night. There was super Midwestern of me on the Discord last night. Why is it always DL and I? It's just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I. I love hanging out with DL. We have a great time. We talk, we get to know each other. It's a really good time. Cathartic, even, wouldn't you say? So I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining that, I'm just hanging out with DL, but we want you to share in our good time. You guys are missing out. If you are a member of the channel and you don't have the link to the members only Discord, please don't be afraid to reach out. Please don't be afraid. We can get that for you. We can get that for you. Just let us know. Let us know. Hey, good morning, Ensign Big Time Objective. Welcome. Welcome. Good morning, Lieutenant Backyard TARDIS. Welcome. All right, let's go. Let's go. Good morning, Omari. I know. Listen, I don't know. I've got nothing, but I fixed it. Good morning, Penny. Good morning to you. Why am I singing so much today? Why do I sing so much, period? DL, we have great conversations, and I do enjoy them. And we talked about that too. We just like talking to each other. We're trying to figure out, like, hey, we're opening up the watch party stuff. Like, seriously, DL, you can watch anything you want. I will pull up anything in the world you want to watch. And he's like, I just like hanging out and talking. Lieutenant Backyard TARDIS, sorry, I was working in a cell debt. Oh, I hate those. We have a place around here called Caledonia. It's a very small, little, very extremely rural country area, and zero cell service there. Like, zero. It's famous around here for two things. It's got an amazing little, like, country candy store, and it has this school building that, swear to God, it looks like boobs with nipples on top. For reals. It's crazy. Good morning, Lieutenant Keto, and contributing editor and contributing producer, Keto Reviews. And guess what Kino's doing? Can I tell him, Kino? I'm just going to tell him. I'm not even going to, I'm just telling him. Kino is, I guess, kind of working on a bit of, I don't know, the first fan art for Veiled Legacy. And I'm really, like, super excited about it because it's very exciting. Very exciting. I can't wait to see it. It's because this will be genuinely the first time I've seen one of my characters sketched out. Now, and I've been looking for this, but 20 years ago, I sketched my main three characters, my main three antagonists out in pencil. I have no idea. It was like 20 something years ago. I'm sure it's on MySpace somewhere, but how do you get anything off MySpace anymore? But Kino, I don't know if you heard the announcement, got an actual legit Ripaverse artist who is on board to do art for Veiled Legacy. We have a goal of $175. We're going to hit $175 to start, and we're just going to keep hitting benchmarks after that. I'm going to get some concept art to start in a couple of weeks. We're going to start on concept art in a couple of weeks, and then just keep pushing from there. So very excited. Evan Scale, artist for, at least that I know, I feel like, Dirty Deeds, written by Caro Brown, my editor and my BFF lover. She's so cool. Just got the email this morning. So yes, it's so weird. So weird. So that means Mama has to, once these nails come off, like, actually start, once I have no more to replace them with, I'm going to start looking real funny for a while. I won't have long nails anymore, and I won't have long lashes anymore. It'll all be gone because I'm going to start having to save myself like $20 a month. That's where I'm putting aside $20 a month. That's one area. I should be very, very much more specific on that. And I really want to give a huge shout out to my my we're not legally married, but he is my husband, love of my life, my Dave, who his very first reaction upon hearing the news was, well, I'm more than certain we can start putting aside $30 from the places. Like, he's like, we can make this happen. We're just going to start, whoa, we're not eating out then. We're not eating out there. We're not doing this, which we really don't do, period. But I have an amazing, supportive, and loving partner who his first reaction was, we're going to make this happen. So big thanks to you, my love. Mwah. I know you hate this kind of stuff, but I don't care. I love you and I appreciate you so much. So guys, Veiled Legacy is moving forward. I'm not going to cry. 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 I've only been wanting to do this for 20 freaking years. So all right, guys. Again, you can join this journey. I'm going to work on a whole bunch of stuff this weekend. I am recording my Lobo breakdown this weekend on top of some revamps for the Patreon to really reflect the direction it's taken for the comic book. New graphics, new art for the different tiers. I am recording a new vlog today for the patrons. I'm working on character descriptions. What else am I doing? Oh, there's a lot of stuff. I got to do some writing. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff. I'm working on a lot of things. But first and foremost, I do have to record that Lobo breakdown. Miss Penny's been waiting a long time. I get so busy. We're still 100 hours away from full monetization. That will most likely change over the next 2 days once the thing rolls over with YouTube, because with YouTube it's every 5 days. So, and honestly, if I'm struggling this hard to get to that 100-hour mark, if I'm struggling this hard just to reach the full monetization, it's probably going to be, a steeper hill to climb just to get a check from YouTube. So I'm just going to be happy to be here. All right. I'm going to be grateful. I'm so, and this was kind of my thing for today. I was thinking about this before I hopped on the stream, that I'm just stupid grateful that you guys are here. I want to thank the people that donated all the memberships yesterday. Kino, Backyard TARDIS. I mean, all of you guys are, thank you so much. Your help is outstanding, and I can't do it without you. I would not have a daily live stream without you guys in the chat. So it means the world to me that you are here day in and day out. It means everything to me that you are interacting in the community, in the polls, in the quizzes. You celebrate the successes with me as well. It's very much your success too. I just don't know how to thank you enough. And I'm trying. I know I'm all over the place. I know I'm a flibberty gibbet. I know Nander doesn't understand that. I guess it's a Midwestern thing, an old kind of thing to say. But I know I'm all over the place. I know I get a little overwhelmed, and I'm very spread thin a lot of the time. But as soon as I can afford an extra $35,000 a year, I will hire a social media manager to help with those things. So, but anyway, you guys are the absolute best, and I could not be more grateful for the community that we have built here. You guys are the best, and I just love you. I do. I used to make fun of those YouTubers who would say, I love you, because I'm like, how's that possible? You don't know those people. How can you love them? But over the years, we have all gotten to know each other. We do know each other. And a lot of you have really been with me through some hard times, like especially Penny, Kino, DL, who else? Ro. Ro is one of my best friends, and that means something to me. It means something to me. And DL, thank you so much for talking to me about my mug and telling me how to fix it properly. It is fixed. Thank you so much. But you guys are the best. And thank you for my computer. Without my computer, I would not be able to keep doing this stream. Thank you for everything. So let's enough of this lady business. Let's get into it. What do we have today? Oh my, what is this? Could this be? Is it real? For once, it actually is. It actually is. And I knew it was real because I talked to Star Wars Meg. And I do love this chick so much. Star Wars Meg is the absolute best. And whenever there's a rumor going around, we tend to connect and discuss. And I didn't do my banners today because I was, again, dragging ass. We'll do this. Bye-bye, KK. Okay. There we go. Bye-bye, KK. It's real. It's official. She's out the door. But when I read through this article by Brett Lang on Variety, I didn't see a specific date. No specific date. So I don't know if this is something that has already happened. Or if it's going to happen, but it says 2026. It says Kathleen Kennedy will end her 14-year run at Lucasfilm. She will be replaced by not one, but two executives when she leaves the Walt Disney Company this year. This is something that Star Wars Meg and I have talked about before, because Filoni has zero, I mean, not zero, but hardly any studio executive experience whatsoever, like James Gunn. James Gunn's a creative, didn't have any executive experience whatsoever. He doesn't understand the bureaucracy of it. He doesn't know that end of it, the business end of it, the paperwork type stuff. You know what I mean? And that's Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni doesn't understand this bigger world of suits and paperwork. So it's a good thing that his co-person, his co-head, will be general manager Lin-Wen Brennan. She has a lot of experience in this department. They will both lead the company behind Star Wars and Indiana Jones as it looks to recapture its stride. Filoni's elevation has been widely expected, but Brennan's promotion is something of a surprise. We've talked about this. It was not to us. It suggests that Disney felt the need to pair a strong filmmaking force with someone with a firm sense of budgets and balance sheets. Are we going to stick to those budgets? Is that going to be genuinely important? Because from what we've seen in the last several years with Star Wars, those budgets have been completely out of control. Completely out of control. Good morning, Ensign Loki. Says he believes the same thing as Kathleen Kennedy does. There will be no change creatively. And that's, if you know anything about Filoni's wife, she was absolutely pushing for more space witches. Did I say that? Space witches. Yes. Filoni has been named president and chief executive officer Lucasfilm of Lucasfilm. Filoni has been named president and chief executive officer Lucasfilm, and Brennan has been named co-president. Okay. Their task will be to find ways to keep Star Wars fresh and relevant, as well as to deal with a fan base that can be very vocal when it feels that a film or series is departing too drastically from canon. Filoni and Brennan will report to Alan Bergman, co-chair of Disney Entertainment. So our customers, which that's what viewers, that's what an audience is, essentially a customer, we're the ones shelling out the money for your streaming service and for movie tickets, however long that lasts. Pardon me while I continue to wipe tears away from my local theater. We're your customers. So this feels very bitter the way they've worded this. A fan base that can be very vocal when it feels that a film or series is departing too drastically from the canon, as a customer should be. If the product is not up to the quality that we expect, that the customer expects, they should be vocal about it. No, I want my money back. No, I am not purchasing this product. Essentially, that is what it is. This is a business. That is a product. Yes, it is art, but this is corporate art. This is a corporate product, and they have not been providing quality products for some time. I liked Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew was good. Andor, good. And from what I'm hearing, Filoni was pretty pissed about that. He was very jealous of Tony Gilroy. And with Filoni now in charge, you will never see anything like that ever again. I promise you. I promise you. Filoni is 1000% Disney-fied at this point. But you absolutely should be vocal. Because it's not just, I've paid for something. I want it to be good. I want it to be what you've promised. It's also, this is something that's a part of our culture. This is something that was a part of our childhoods. It's something that is important to us. It's almost like a living, breathing thing, and you've all but smothered it with a pillow. So yeah, we get to be a little miffed. We get to raise concerns about that. I mean, are we just, if you're not in the focus group, are we just supposed to be quiet? That doesn't make any sense. Am I making any sense here? Please chime in the chat and tell me how you really feel. And of course, the biggest takeaway here is that Filoni and Brennan will report to Alan Bergman, co-chair of Disney Entertainment. So it doesn't matter. Disney's still in charge. Kennedy will continue to have a relationship with the company and will serve as producer on the studio's next two theatrical films, The Mandalorian and Grogu and Star Wars Starfighter, which will hit theaters in 2026 and 2027. She will pursue other producing projects independently. In a statement, Disney CEO Bob Iger, who is also expected to leave his role this year, praised Kennedy's leadership. When we acquired Lucasfilm more than a decade ago, we knew we were bringing into the Disney family not only one of the most beloved and enduring storytelling universes ever created, but also a team of extraordinary talent led by a visionary filmmaker, someone who had been handpicked by George Lucas himself, no less, Iger said. We're deeply grateful for Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, her vision, and her stewardship for such an iconic studio and brand. Kennedy is a widely respected producer who worked closely with Steven Spielberg for many years, but her tenure at Lucasfilm had both highs and lows. She helped select J.J. Abrams' direct 2015 Star Wars The Force Awakens, which went on to earn more than $2 billion, successfully bringing the franchise back to the big screens. Its two sequels were box office hits, as was Rogue One, a Star Wars story, a spin-off adventure. However, 2018 Solo, an attempt to look at the early years of Han Solo, failed at the box office and suffered from a chaotic production, during which original directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller were fired and replaced with Ron Howard. Keeping filmmakers employed has been a constant struggle for Kennedy, who has seen the likes of Patty Jenkins, David Benioff, and D.B. Weiss. Oh, those guys. And Taika Waititi announced Star Wars movies of their own that never materialized or were canceled because of creative differences. That's left Disney with a 7-year gap in Star Wars films, one that will be filled when The Mandalorian and Grogu opens in theaters this summer. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, a 2023 sequel to the long-running action franchise, also failed at the box office. Kennedy has helped Star Wars enter the world of streaming, producing hit shows such as The Mandalorian and critically acclaimed series such as Andor. A few of these faltered. However, The Acolyte, for instance, was canceled after one season. Boy, that's putting it about as gently as you possibly can. Filoni is a longtime veteran of Lucasfilm. He was selected by George Lucas in 2005 to build Lucasfilm's animation studio and created its first series, Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. Filoni is the executive producer, episodic director, and writer on some of the company's live-action series, including The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, and producer and writer of The Mandalorian and Grogu. Brennan joined Industrial Light and Magic in 1999. God, how old is this woman? She looks amazing. Holy crap. I gotta show you guys a picture. She looks fantastic. Huh. She joined ILM in 1999, eventually becoming its president in 2009. She later became Lucasfilm's president and general manager in 2024. She led the company's business strategy and franchise and production operations and has overseen ILM's expansion. Let's check in with the chat. Loki says, Ensign Loki says, Filoni is on record as loving The Last Jedi. You should not be hopeful. Yeah. Omari, those The Force is Female shirts must not have sold well. Backyard TARDIS. George probably feels about his pick of Kathleen Kennedy like Iger did of Chapek. My puppet is broken. Here's the thing. Back in the 80s and early 90s, Kathleen Kennedy did some great work as a producer. Without her, we wouldn't have Gremlins. I love Gremlins. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. But it's I always think of, I'm telling you, one of the greatest quotes of all time came from Dark Knight Rises. Harvey Dent. You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. She should have retired a very long time ago. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we've seen it happen to Filoni. For some time, Filoni was the chosen one, but he drank the Disney Kool-Aid. He accepted that fat bag of mouse cash, and there you have it. You cannot give Filoni the credit for The Mandalorian, not for the first 2 seasons. That was Favreau. That was Jon Favreau. I had a lot of hope for Filoni. Oh, Wolfie. He's let us down. Lieutenant Kino says, without her, George and Steve wouldn't get their coffee. No, Kathleen Kennedy is much older. She's much older. She's absolutely loaded. And she's lost her touch. And there's I don't know how many of you are actually my generation, but there's been a constant bitch my generation have had about our parents' generation, the boomers. I haven't gotten to do this in a while. You boomers. The boomers never stepped out. This is why we're kind of that generation that everyone forgets about. Or we're just like the forgotten generation, or the ones, the smallest generation. It's because the boomers never would retire. They'd never retire or step out of the way so that we could step up. Like, let us work. Let us have something too. Let us do things. They wouldn't do that. And this is one of those cases. Like, you've got politicians that are like being wheeled to their voting booth or desk or whatever the hell it is, wheeled to the Senate floor with tubes and oxygen masks and IVs, holding them upright. You've got that going on, and you've got this going on in studios and stuff. You've got it going on in major corporations everywhere. 80, 90 years old. Just not wanting to lose control and power of things. And that's not working at all. Like, you get older and you gain more wisdom. That I totally understand. That's something you don't figure out until probably your 40s. You learn the difference between intelligence and wisdom. But there is like this tipping point. There is this tipping point where you do start to become a little bit slower. Not just a little bit slower, but a little bit more, I don't want to say, out of touch. It's because I'm going to try to connect a dot here for you. And I feel like I'm not so good with that sometimes. Because maybe I've hit that point. I'm becoming slower. It's kind of like when you have children, it's not about you anymore. You have kids, and then everything is about those kids. You are creating a world and everything for them. It's not for you anymore. Well, you have these 80, 90-year-olds in these offices, in these creative offices and studios and stuff. They have no idea who they are making this content for. They don't know. They're old. They don't know this stuff. It's matured. This better be an emergency because they all know I'm working right now. So I just have to check and make sure it's. Yeah, my son Kessler's now telling me that, you know what, we're going to call him on speaker. There's Cassie Wessie Bumblebee.
Hello.
Yeah, so I'm live right now talking exactly about this very thing. I'm a little disappointed that you would think I didn't know this.
I know, but I just wanted you to know that I know that Kathleen Kennedy knows that she's done.
And what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I can't wait for them to actually put out some good Star Wars shit.
Do you think that's going to happen with Dave Filoni at the helm?
I don't know who Dave Filoni is.
How are you my child and you don't know who Dave Filoni is? What is happening?
Like 5 minutes.
I failed as a parent. Okay, Dave Filoni was the guy behind Clone Wars, and
right.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think he'll do a way better job than anything.
Yeah, but his wife is also like more space witches, and he also loved The Last Jedi.
I hope she doesn't mean space witches as in the power of one, the power of two,
She did.
the power of many.
She did.
Feminists.
She did.
She did. She wants those space witches,
Yes.
not the actual space witches,
yes.
The Night Sisters.
Yes.
That's stupid. We want more. We need more Night Sisters. We only had that one in that really terrible show.
I keep telling them that I'm available to play a Night Sister because I thought my cosplay was pretty dope, but I'm still not getting the call, but that's fine. But I completely agree with you.
So long as Cameron Monaghan gets to play Cal instead of the other guy who didn't play Cal in the games, I'm fine. If Dave Filoni makes that happen, awesome. If they don't, I lose all faith.
All right, he's my kid. It's confirmed. DNA test right here.
Yeah.
All right, you got to work?
Yeah, well, I'm just on a short break, but yeah, I want to head back in.
All right, well, I'm going to go back to work too. Love you, mean it.
Okay, love you too. Bye.
Bye. Ha! Good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, hello, Bad Bert Webb. Were you here earlier? He's bitter. He doesn't know who Dave is. Good morning, Vincent Breeden. 80 and 90-year-olds are the silent generation. Okay, well, 80 and 90-year-olds are my grandparents, and they're absolutely wonderful. My parents are the boomers, and they're buttholes, and they won't get the F out of the way. So, yeah. I will try to make that a short. What point? We are 40 minutes in. Good morning, Lieutenant Latino Slant Polly, my partner on Wednesdays, lurking and twerking. Now that's in my head. Okay, so there you have it. Even the 20-something generation is like, can we just get some Night Sisters in Cal Kestis? So, but he did send me some hallelujahs. This, I don't know if you can see this. These are his texts. Hallelujah. She's gone. But again, the email doesn't say specifically when. So it may be like immediate. It may be like right now. Backyard TARDIS. Lieutenant Backyard TARDIS. He's also the one who did most of the Night Sister content. He is. Oh, and I agree with Polly. Smash the like button, please. Please, please, please. There's a hair somewhere. I can feel it, but I can't see it. All right, guys. If you have any questions, comments, emotional outbursts, oh gosh, where is the hair? About probably everything staying the same. Oh, I have not told Polly I'm sorry. It wasn't a request. It was a demand. I really need to screen cap that and send it to him. Polly, hopefully you're still here lurking, but Miss Penny had a demand. She scares me a little bit. I'm going to be real with you. She scares me. It was a hammer in a velvet purse. She is demanding that I simulcast our mid-roast on Comics and at the same time as we do Latino Slant. I told her you're the one who's kind of in charge since it's actually on your channel and you do all of the work. And that I don't know how you felt about it, like if it would be splitting views somehow or whatever, but I told her I would bring that to your attention. She was, again, hammer in a velvet purse. Okay? She had demands. So if anyone else has any more demands for Polly, leave it in the chat. We're going to move on. Vincent! Considering how the Space Witches went down in The Acolyte, I'm not sure Lucasfilm likes them very much. Gosh, fingers crossed, because that was like no fun. It was no fun. And I was really excited. I really thought they were going to go further into that magic and mysticism. I really, really did. But they didn't. Oh, don't get me started on that. It'll just be a whole episode of me talking about missed opportunities again, because they've never dived in to the magic, the lore, the mysticism, so annoying. So annoying. It's right there. The answer is right there. And they're just like, I don't see it. I don't see it. It's like smacking them in the face. And they're like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't see it. All right, guys. We're going to move on because I'll be on it all day. I'll be on it all day. Here we go. Thank you for sending me this, Kino. I'm going to make a banner for it as well. No. I just cracked myself up. So a judge has told Paramount, no suit for you. No suit for you. Paramount was trying to sue to say, that's not fair. You should sell to us. We want to see what your deal really is with Netflix. We want full disclosure on your deal with Netflix. And a judge said, nope. In the ruling, the judge said Paramount failed to display how it would suffer irreparable harm by Warner Brothers Discovery's allegedly deficient disclosures. Oh, Paramount. This whole thing is just a friggin' disaster mess, top to bottom. Like none of it is good for anybody. None of it. I mean, we are killing movie theaters left and right, while people in my hometown are blaming the movie theaters. Like, come off it. How are you buying this gaslighting hook, line, and sinker? You are not this stupid. This. Woosah. The Netflix merger with Warner Brothers Discovery is not good. But neither would have been a merger of Paramount Skydance, Warner Brothers Discovery. I mean, the post-COVID special of South Park like really hit the nail on the head, guys. It really did. They saw the future coming. And this is it. Applebee's Plus. All these mergers, it's just going to be one super corporation. We are losing American culture like right before our eyes, and people celebrate it. They're choosing sides, and they're failing to recognize that there is only one side, and you ain't on it. The side is us. The side is the American people, the people in general. This is a worldwide issue. I'm convinced. They are stealing from us that shared human experience. There is something to be said about being in a movie theater, watching an epic moment on a giant screen. It's not just about watching it on a big movie screen and eating some popcorn. You feel that energy build up. It's empathic. It is. It really, really is. It's factual, it's scientific. And they are stealing that from us for one obvious reason, and that's because they don't want to share 50% of the ticket prices, for one. That's the obvious reason. And the other reasons are probably way more nefarious, and I'm not going to get into conspiracy stuff, but it's probably true. Good Lord. But Paramount is just acted a little cray cray about it. Like, tell us why. It's like when you break up with a girl or you tell her, no, thank you. I don't want to go out with you. And she's like, but I just want to know why. But guys do this too. You know, I should rephrase what I'm saying. It's like when you break up with someone or you reject someone in some way, they're like, I just want to know why. They don't want the answer. They don't really want the answer. The answer is, I don't like you. I'm not attracted to you. I don't want to touch your body. I don't want to kiss you. Just the idea repulses me. I don't like your smell. Your pheromones smell stinky to me. They will not accept that. You know, but I'm nice. But I'm so nice. I'm a nice guy. Yeah, nice guys don't kick and scream and throw fits when you it's just a matter of, I'm sorry. I can't help it. I can't force myself to find you attractive. And Warner Brothers Discovery is kind of going through this right now. Like Paramount's like, I just want to know why. I'm a nice guy. I offered you all this money. Just tell me why. And Warner Brothers Discovery is like, I just don't like you like that. And you're like, oh, well, I'm going to tell everyone you're a whore. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to tell everyone you're a whore. I'm going to sue you. So this judge has come out and said, you need to face facts. They're just not that into you. I can recommend an excellent therapist. Let's check in with the chat. Omari, even Comcast didn't try this hard, but it was clear that Disney would win Fox over them. It's sad. Good morning, Hunter. Did you see that Paramount went to the EU trying to block Netflix also? No, I didn't. Big time objective, new member of the channel, 45-day theater window with Netflix. I know. That's what they're saying now. I promise we'll have a 45-day. Oh, big freaking whoopity woohoo. Call me back when it's at least 3 months, jackass. I am so done with this. I'm so done with this. They've killed theaters. They're killing the human experience. They've ruined baseball. It's a different conversation. No, we're steady killing these things, and it sickens me. It was like, oh, we're gonna do 2 weeks, and then everyone was like, whoa, and now it's oh well, we'll do 45 days, a whole month and a half. Bitch, please. Titanic was in theaters until Titanic stopped making money in theaters. That's how that works. That's how it should work. And people had some amazing experiences in the movie theaters watching that movie. I didn't, because my boyfriend at the time became my ex-boyfriend because he friggin' stood me up to go see it. So it's fine. I'm not bitter. Clearly I wasn't, but it's a piece of Americana. It's a piece of our culture. And these guys are just steady killing it because they're like, but streaming, we don't have to share the ticket money. We do it ourselves because we've repealed those laws. God, what were they called again? I can't remember. We repealed those laws in 2024. So now we can do whatever we want. It's bullshit. Lieutenant Kino, people don't know how to behave in theaters. Bring in bouncers, bring in ushers, bring them back, bring them back. My place had them. And I'm going to say something controversial. I totally believe that the people that worked in my local theater are worth the $15 an hour. They're worth that $15 an hour. But the people who live in my local area are too dense to figure out that the theater has to actually make money in order to pay those people $15 an hour. Like, how do you not figure that out? Oh, well, the people that own it are rich. Yeah, how do you think they got rich, dingbat? Not by chunking money into something continually on something that's not making money. That's not how you get. Shut up. Moving on. Lieutenant Kino, Warner Brothers to Paramount. It's not you, it's me. It's a deranged lunatic. Are you saying people don't want to hear the truth? Oh, imagine that. Ensign Loki. All of this pontificating by Paramount is pointless since the Netflix deal won't pass regulation. Too much pressure from both sides of the aisle. We're supposed to be a free market. But I do want it broken up because we're supposed to be a free market. Good morning, Slayeth. Slayeth, Dani, was good. Comics and rules, the AM YouTube streets. Thank you, sir. Big news, big news, big news. I have an artist for my comic. It's a Rippaverse artist. Lord Jesus. Hey! Latino Slant has re-signed up as a member of the channel. Yay!
Because that's what heroes do.
It was actually our theater was actually built when the movie tickets were 75 cents a ticket. I don't know why you argue with me about this stuff because your memory does not work. They were 75 cents when that theater opened. I am the movie person. 75 cents. Okay? It was 75 cents when Sarasota Showplace 4 was opened in Maple Valley. Stop. You upgraded to Commander? What? What? See, StreamYard doesn't show you this stuff. You're amazing, Polly. I need to show you something else. Hold on. You get a longer clip. How about you know what? I'm just going to show you my favorite one.
Dani, what is best in life?
To crush the rumors, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the nerds.
Thank you, Polly. Mwah! Let's get this comic made. Thank you for helping me so much. Thank you so much. Awesome. All right, guys. Leave your questions, comments, emotional outbursts about the Paramount crap in the chat below. Bert, shut up about the movie theater. Just shut up. I'm right. You're wrong. End of it. So Blue Beetle director Angel Manuel Soto has confirmed that Blue Beetle will soon be returning to the DCU. Good things are coming for Jaime Reyes and his family. I started to roll on the back of my tongue like a French lady instead of Reyes. It happened. Anyway, so remember quite some time ago, they said that Blue Beetle was going to get an animated thing. And then we never heard about it again. I think it's because James Gunn keeps forgetting that Blue Beetle was actually the first DCU character. At least that's what he said, but he tends to forget things. But now it's happening. And Manuel Soto says, yeah, there have been conversations, and that's all I can say. I mean, that's fair. Conversations have been happening. And there's definitely, James Gunn has been very vocal about keeping Blue Beetle in the DCU. So good things are coming for Jaime Reyes and his family. So it's coming very slowly. The animated sequel would presumably explore Blue Beetle's post-credit reveal that Ted Kord is alive and well. That would be Jason Sudeikis, introducing him to a broader audience. That could give the Blue Beetle project a significant connection to James Gunn's DCU, given Kord's connection to Booster Gold, who is getting his own HBO Max series. Where is the update on that, Jimmy Guns? Huh? I've only been waiting for years on that. Fans were once convinced that Merdueña is going to show up in Peacemaker Season 2 in a surprise cameo. Instead, DC Studios is looking to be saving his return for his upcoming animated project, which could potentially land later this year. For reals? For reals? Fans, despite the lack of Blue Beetle updates, Gunn once promised that the DCU would release 2 movies and 2 streaming series a year. 2026 is currently has 2 movies, Supergirl and Clayface, but only 1 HBO Max offering with Lanterns, making it entirely possible that Blue Beetle could still arrive this year. DC Studios will have 1 central casting to pull off for the animated series thanks to Ted Kord, who could conceivably return in Booster Gold and other DCU projects. Artwork of the missing hero in the movie strongly resembled Ted Lasso star Jason Sudeikis, leaving many hopeful that he will play the role. Well, he voiced it in the film, so... Hey, good morning, Jesus' goat! Ensign Loki Jarson says, so Nova or no? According to the casting, Xolo was cast as Nova. But we've seen no updates for Nova in Marvel or for Booster Gold in DC, and nothing for Blue Beetle for like a year or so. Who knows what's going on? So I hope it's good news. I really do love Jaime. I love Xolo as Jaime. I love him as an actor, period. I think he's really great. Latino Slant says it's been developing the scripts and Soto is doing the PR rounds with his new film. Of course you would know. Of course you would know about this. Well, you know what? If you have some information about something nerdy, you need to slide it over to me. Just there you go. Gracias. Thank you. All right, guys. I love Blue Beetle. I love Booster Gold. So it better be good or I will riot. I'm pretty upset with how Peacemaker Season 2 went from top to bottom. I mean, Eagly and Tim Meadows, that's the whole season for me. That's just my headcanon. It's Eagly and Tim Meadows. That's the whole season. That's how I'm going to live from here on out. There you have that. Jesus' Goat says, Blue Beetle is slept on, the movie and the character. Highly agree. And my lover face, love of my life, got me a Jaime Reyes. I keep picking up my R's, but I have a Blue Beetle on the shelf right there. I love him. Jaime. Okay, guys, we're going to move on to our number 1 topic of the day. Oh, what could it be? What could it be? Oops, I messed up. I forgot to put a colon there. Never miss your colon. We talked about this the other day, bro. We did, Hunter. Thank you. Big time objective. I think, are you an ensign? Ensign, big time objective. I'm more interested in seeing Mr. Miracle. Listen, I love Mr. Miracle and Big Barda. You guys know this. Very excited. As soon as we have more information about it, we'll talk more about it. We've got our main topic coming up right now. Oop, where'd you go? Where'd you go, George? Where'd you go? Here we go. Dude. George R.R. Martin gave an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, and he let HBO and Ryan Condal just effing have it. Buenos dias, Fernando. You had a late night last night? I never have late nights. I go to bed early. Commander Latino Slant says, and bring back Bruno. Oh, Bruno, the hot Brazilian and Blue Beetle. Yes, please. Yes. I think Sholo's pretty good looking. Sholo's pretty great. So, if you've been around this channel for any time whatsoever, you know I do love A Song of Ice and Fire. I love the books. I've read them. I love Game of Thrones. I love House of the Dragon. I love all of it. In fact, tomorrow, or is it Sunday? I think it's Sunday. Sunday, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Dunk and Egg. That series premieres on HBO, and I am looking forward to it. George R. Martin is not. He's not. So ahead of its premiere, he gives this interview, and he does not hold back. He talks about his long anticipated Winds of Winter and Dream of Spring books, which I have a feeling are never going to come out, and so does he. He is not happy. And you know what? I don't blame him. As if this is something that had happened to me, I would feel the exact same way. And I don't want to get like, big head or anything like that. But if I was ever given the opportunity to make a show or a movie or something about something I wrote, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could sell the rights, because those are my babies, and I don't want to see what happens to them. I've seen what other people's work, what gets done to them on the screen, and then I don't know if I could deal with that. Good morning, member Films and Fiction. I'm sorry, I can't see if you're like an ensign, because StreamYard doesn't show me. I need to look into that. All George R. Martin does is complain about the things that made him rich. Well, let's dive into this. See what he says. In 2015, George R. Martin confessed to having two worries that would define his future and forever change the world of fantasy entertainment. You're a lieutenant? Lieutenant Dom. Where were you last night? I'm going to have a talk with all of you. We're having breakfast in San Francisco before HBO's premiere event for Game of Thrones Season 5. This is 2015. Martin had been professionally writing sci-fi and fantasy fiction since his acclaimed debut novel 1977's Dying of the Light, and had attempted a stint as a staff writer on TV shows in Los Angeles in the 80s before launching his best-selling A Song of Ice and Fire novels, which served as the basis for Game of Thrones. His books took high fantasy tropes and combined them with tale inspired by brutal R-rated history of politics and warfare in medieval Europe. Along the way, Martin had become a celebrity figure with a distinctive look. His bushy white beard, fisherman's cap, glasses, and suspenders. Like some 1920s steampunk Santa. Between bites of Eggs Benedict, Martin said he couldn't believe he was being parodied on South Park and Saturday Night Live. In just a few short years, Martin had become the country's most recognizable author aside from Stephen King. It was an extraordinary accomplishment for the son of a New Jersey longshoreman who had got his start by selling monster stories to schoolmates for a dime apiece. Martin told me his first concern was that HBO might never make another series based on the World of Thrones. He had material for 100 other shows, he said, but HBO executives weren't yet interested in doing spin-offs. Martin didn't want to be a one-hit wonder in Hollywood. He hoped his fantasy creation would evolve into a franchise that kept it alive for generations. Martin's second worry was one he'd had since 2011 when Thrones premiered and his last Ice of Fire novel, A Dance with Dragons, was published. He still needed to write 2 more books, The Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring. To finish his saga, the clock was ticking. The HBO show storylines were about to surpass the narrative in his books. I have to finish the next book, Martin fretted. The actual writing is getting harder. I'm rewriting. I'm struggling. Maybe I'm over-optimistic about how quickly I can write these things. I'm trying to cut back on anything I can clear my decks to get this done. 10 years later. Martin takes a seat in his bar in Santa Fe. The tavern is called Milk of the Poppy, a nod to the opiate tonic in Thrones, yet it's not officially based on the show. I sold Westeros to Warner Brothers in 2007, he points out. The bar is located... That would suck! That would suck so hard. Like, you created it, and you sell the rights to someone else, and you can't... Oh, that would suck. That's so dumb. Hey, good morning, Josie. What's up? The bar is located next to his Beastly Books bookstore, which is next to his Jean Cocteau Cinema movie theater, which is a stone's throw away from a train painted to look like a dragon offering a day trip adventures. Locals regularly stop Martin and thank him for all he's done for the city. The author is estimated to be worth around $120 million, though he lives rather humble lifestyle. In many ways, Martin looks the same as ever. He's sharp and engaging. His voice is vibrant, yet his beard is thinned and he's tougher. He has a tougher time walking. He's lost weight, but contrary to morbid online speculation, this isn't due to any health issues. I never thought I'd live to be 77, Martin says. I'm old, so I have some old people stuff. My lower back hurts sometimes. I don't like to stand around, but I feel okay. Maybe you should make that your headline. George R.R. Martin is not dying. Martin's concern about the survival of his Westeros kingdom has proved groundless. The first Thrones spin-off, the prequel House of the Dragon, based on Martin's book Fire and Blood, one chapter. It's based on one chapter of Fire and Blood. They should be very specific about that. Has been a hit for HBO and will debut its 3rd season this year. Another prequel about to premiere, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, based on Martin's Dunk and Egg novellas. There are multiple other Westeros-based tales in development at HBO, while a London West End stage play, The Iron Throne, will soon dramatize the story of King Robert's rebellion. Martin's also launched popular ventures beyond his best-known franchise. He's an executive producer on AMC's acclaimed Navajo tribal police drama Dark Winds, which is awesome, and collaborated on hit fantasy game Elden Ring. He's a founding investor in Meow Wolf, the innovative immersive art, blah, blah, blah. Get to it. Martin wanted to build an empire and did, yet productive is the last word any Thrones fan would describe him. The author's worry is that he wouldn't be able to finish Winter as born out of a staggering degree. His tortured inability to finish the book, George, as online hordes regularly chide, is almost as impressive in its way as his success at doing literally everything else. I seriously thought he was older too. Quickly. Yeah. But first, we discuss the new show, the low-key vibe compared to Game of Thrones or Dragon. The action is almost entirely set at jousting tournament in a rural backwater of Westeros and follows the penniless knight of we're talking about Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. This penniless knight, Sir Duncan the Tall, and his diminutive 10-year-old squire, as they enter the tourney to improve their fortunes. Across 6 episodes, this 6 episode shit every 3 to 4 years is on my last nerve. Across 6 episodes, the likable duo tangle with an array of powerful rival lords. Dunk and Egg both face great Shakespearean jeopardy in Westeros, but there's a lot of humor and heart along the way too, says HBO drama programming head Francesca Orsi. The show is meant to be a very different type, says Martin. who serves as co-creator and executive producer. It turns out very well, and I'm happy with season 1. The casting was a home run. Showrunner Ira Parker is terrific and seems to have the same priorities I do. He's trying to do something that's very true to the characters. The show came about, Martin said, because HBO was looking for a project where we could get the budget a little under control. Dragons cost about $20 million an episode, and the network previously shortened Dragon's second season to push an expensive battle sequence into season 3. This doesn't have any dragons or bigger battles, says Martin. It has a field and a lot of tents and horses. When the project was announced 2 years ago, HBO's press release suggested the series would serve as Martin's return to screenwriting, but he still hasn't written an episode of TV since season 4 of Game of Thrones. There has always been the possibility of me writing on the show, he says, but then things happen and I suddenly have other priorities. Martin is nonetheless highly creatively involved. On Night and Dragon, Martin initially convened a writing summit in Santa Fe to help figure out the series. I bring the showrunner together with 4 or 5 writers I know. Some are TV writers, some are fantasy novelists who really know the world. We assemble for a week, he says. Parker called the summit one of the most fun creative weeks I've ever had in my whole career, and notes that while writing episodes, George was there every step of the way. He's been very lovely. I think of him as a friend now. With a production and scope that's quite modest compared to Thrones and Dragon, Parker admits to worrying about whether fans will embrace it. Early reviews, at least, are quite positive, with our critic calling the show smaller, smarter, funnier than its predecessors. At the end of the day, we are Game of Thrones without all the stuff, Parker says. Whatever that means. We have one of the ingredients, 2 unusual characters like Arya and the Hound, or Brienne and Podrick, who are paired together and have conversations. I hope that's what made Thrones work. It's a big part of what it was for me. There is, however, one potential problem for the show's future. The big issue is that I have only written 3 novellas, and I have a lot more stories about Dunk and Egg in my fucking head, Martin says, looking a bit shamefaced. I've got to get them down on paper. I begin writing at various points in the year. One is set in Winterfell, and one is set in the Riverlands. Oh, George, I say, not again. All of Martin's books, shows, and events and businesses come from their own set of distractions, which get added to a pile and compete for his attention. Some involve working with writers and not yet announced potential Thrones projects. One previously reported idea is based on Dragon's seafaring character, the Sea Snake. The development has quietly shifted from a live action project to animated to keep costs down. Another is based on King Aegon Targaryen's conquest of Westeros. It is being developed by HBO as a possible drama series and by the Warner Brothers team as the mammoth Dune-sized feature film. That would be amazing. I have been saying for some time that would be an amazing series. But one idea is an offspring of the most intriguing of all the Thrones pitches, the scrapped Jon Snow sequel. Martin Long has resisted sequels to Thrones because the ending of his Ice and Fire books is not going to align with the show. He wants to avoid further canonizing Thrones' controversial ending. Even though he hasn't written his own yet, the book's ending is going to be significantly different. One can hope. Jorge, one can hope, Martin says. Some characters who are alive in my book are going to be dead in the show and vice versa. Martin figured John, played by Kit Harington, would be the safest character for a sequel since he was exiled to north of the wall in the series finale, and picking up his story wouldn't need to include revealing what happened to other major characters down south. THR broke the news of the development in 2022, but held back story details to protect against spoilers. Harrington, working with 2 writers from his drama series Gunpowder, was interested in mapping out a tale of Snow living alone as a broken man with PTSD. Oh, Christ. Having chased off his chased off his dire wolf ghost and thrown away his sword Longclaw, John spent his time building cabins and burning them back down again. Harrington also wanted John to die and to avoid being a hero. Shh. We will never speak of this again. That is awful. That is unbelievably awful. What a way to just ruin the character. The story echoed in some respects Harrington's personal struggles, you think? Entering rehab following an intense shooting experience on Thrones, I went through some mental health difficulties, the actor said. I think it was directly due to the nature of the show. Okay. I really hate that money. Yeah. Yeah, he's taking procrastination to the next level. Totally agree. Deranged Lunatic, member of the channel. Does anyone else remember when TV series used to actually have seasons within multiple episodes? Barely. It's been so long. HBO found the broken Jon Snow idea too much of a bummer and eventually pushed it aside. Bless you, HBO. For once we agree. Yet in recent days, sources say a new writer, I'm not even, Tran, I'm just going to say his last name, Tran from Drops of God, has come aboard to revive the sequel idea. While the story is still being fleshed out, one possibility is shifting the drama to the Mediterranean-like land of Essos and adding another hugely popular legacy character, Arya Stark. That would be cool. I'd love to see Arya Stark. This is very early development, however, and HBO is naturally being quite cautious about handling this one. We are very interested and excited by the prospect of a sequel, but also keenly aware of how high the bar of execution needs to be. Yes. One insider says, no actors are yet on board, and signing Harrington in particular would likely prove quite difficult. Just recently, the actor declared he doesn't want to go anywhere near Jon Snow again. Martin says he cannot confirm or comment on projects in development. None of the titles is as sensitive, however, as Martin discussing the show that everyone already knows about, House of the Dragon. Here's where it gets good. Here's where it gets juicy. I have an ego, Martin once said. You don't say. Yeah, Arya having more faceless man adventures. She was fascinated with that story of Nymeria. That's why she named her ghost. That's why she named her wolf that. She was, I'm totally down with that. So, having interviewed Martin nearly a dozen times over the years, this quote always stuck with me because nearly all creatives have an ego, often massive ones, but they're rarely so forthright about it. Whereas Martin always comes across bluntly honest and unafraid to be vulnerable, he can also get very frustrated at perceived rudeness or slights. I mean, same. Warner Brothers may legally own Westeros, but the world is still Martin's creation, and he understandably wants to feel respected and involved. I would want to be. Martin has made something else consistently clear. He believes book adaptations, not just his own, should be faithful as possible. I agree. I think we all do. Martin is childless and has said he considers his characters to be his children. Also agree, but I'm not childless. If another writer wants to make a major change to one of his brood or remove one from a story altogether, he wants to know why, and the reason should make sense. He's making a lot of logical sense right here. I really can't find fault so far. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms showrunner Parker says he suspects Martin leaning on HBO and showrunners to respect his vision is one reason why these shows have done so well, and that the author has been nothing but a benefit. In my very first meeting with George, before I officially had the job, I promised I wouldn't put anything in that he didn't want. But it's never come to that, Parker says. He pushed back on a lot of things. I just explained the reason why I want to do something, and then he would explain his reasons why I'm an idiot. It's always been a bit unclear precisely how much authority Martin has over his HBO projects. Sometimes it seems fuzzy to Martin as well. When HBO's Orsi is asked about Martin's level of control, she replies, "We always value his input in terms of the writers we're hiring, the arenas we're tackling for new spin-offs, and the development of each project across the Game of Thrones universe. But building, producing, running a series is a massive undertaking. While we care deeply about George's and our showrunners' perspectives, we ultimately make decisions that make the best show." So he has none. I asked Martin carefully, "I know you can't say much about this, but I was wondering how your relationship with Dragon showrunner Ryan Condal got so rocky." "It's worse than rocky," Martin says, looking miserable. "It's abysmal." Without getting into spoilers, Martin's gripes about Dragon stem from disputes over changes to his book's characters that impact key plot points. "I hired Ryan," Martin says. "I thought Ryan and I were partners. And we all through the first season. And we were all through the first season. I would read early drafts of the scripts. I would give notes. He would change some things. And it was working really well, I thought. When Ryan came to loggerheads with original Dragon co-showrunner Miguel Sapochnik, Ryan asked for Martin's support in their disputes and got it. Sapochnik left the show after season 1. Then we got into season 2, and he basically stopped listening to me," Martin says. "I would give notes and nothing would happen. Sometimes he would explain why he wasn't doing it. Other times he would tell me, 'Oh, okay, yeah, I'll think about that.' It got worse and worse, and I began to get more and more annoyed. Finally, it got to a point where I was told by HBO that I should submit all of my notes to them, and they would give Ryan our combined notes." One night in 2024, while the second season was airing, Martin wrote a blog post, "Beware the Butterflies," which publicly revealed some of his gripes. When he woke the next morning, it was as if Martin had unleashed his own red wedding. An upset HBO executive had called Martin's manager, who phoned Martin's assistant, who took down the post. But not before entertainment sites, including The Hollywood Reporter, picked up Martin's comments. "I would have put it back up, but then I would have looked like an idiot," he says. "And 80% of it was praise, but that's not what people focused on." Still, the post was meant to be just part of one of 6 detailing the author's issues with dragons. Martin says he can't say anything beyond this, but sources say Martin and Condal's relationship deteriorated further and came to a head during a Zoom call with the show's producers and some HBO executives. The purpose of the call was for Condal to present his vision for season 3. After Condal spoke, Martin detailed his many objections and allegedly declared, "This is not my story any longer." CONDAL didn't comment for his profile, but pointed to a statement he gave to EW last year. "I made every effort to include George in the adaptation process. I really did. But at some point, he just became unwilling to acknowledge the practical issues at hand in a reasonable way. I just have to keep marching forward for the sake of the crew, the cast, and for HBO because that's my job. I can only hope that George and I can rediscover the harmony someday." After their contentious Zoom call, HBO asked Martin to step back from Dragon altogether. A few months later, the author was brought back aboard. "I can't talk about that," Martin says. George and Ryan had a disagreement from the direction of season 3, an HBO insider says. At that point, it was clear the process and communication with them was broken and needed a reset. So there was naturally a period where everyone took a step back for a while until we could figure out a new way forward. In August, Martin was on an author panel at Worldcon when a fan asked a stunningly rude question. Martin typically enjoys such events. He likes communing with fellow creatives and meeting fans. He'll do book signings for hours, autographing 1,000 copies. Martin notes fans are always exceedingly nice when he meets them in person. The Worldcon panel was taking audience questions when somebody asked Martin if he would let another writer finish The Winds of Winter because you're not going to be around for much longer. That is rude. I mean, yeah, but like, hey man, you're going to be dead soon. The audience booed. Martin felt like he'd been slapped. When he looked online to see the reaction, he was dismayed to find some fans saying he deserved it. They say he lied to us. He said he is going to die soon. Look how old he is. Martin says even now, months later, the author looks rattled. "I really didn't need that shit," he said. "Nobody needs that shit." He's right. But also, are we going to get that book? Martin recently has endured losing a wave of fellow novelists for whom he counted as close friends. They're all gone, one after another. Last year, Martin sat down with one of his idols, Robert Redford, who is a fellow executive producer on Dark Winds. Redford came out of retirement for a brief cameo in the show with Martin in a scene. The two are sitting at a chessboard, and Redford ad-libbed a line, "George, the whole world is waiting. Make a move." It was a meta joke about how long Martin is taking to finish Winds of Winter. Then Redford died too. His chess scene with Martin, like something out of The Seventh Seal, his final performance, which just seems so fucking weird, Martin said. Martin's masterpiece is arguably a storm of swords. Agree. The book, published in 2000, was adapted into seasons 3 and 4 of Thrones. It's brilliant, twisty novel spanning more than 1,000 pages, reads like Martin was channeling a river of fire. Somehow Martin wrote swords in a single year. Winter has taken 14 and counting. I look back at that book too, and I don't know how I did it. Martin says he has around 1,100 manuscript pages finished. He's also said the number for a while. He long has blamed the endless distractions that has come from shifting from a full-time author to producer and celebrity. The success of Thrones was both the best and worst that could have happened to Martin, and the greatest story he never wrote. The roots of Ice and Fire extend back to Martin's childhood. As a kid, he kept pet turtles, and when they mysteriously began dying off, he invented stories about how the turtles were feudal rivals and were secretly killing each other off in a sinister plot. Today, Martin works on Winds of Winter in his old house, which serves as his office. He recently moved. Okay. typing away on a DOS computer that's not connected to the internet. Smart. Here's what happens when he sits down to write. I will open the chapter I was working on and say, oh, fuck, this is not very good. And I'll go in and I'll rewrite it, or I'll decide this Tyrion chapter is not coming along. Let me write a Jon Snow chapter. If I'm not interrupted, though, what happens, at least in the past, it's sooner or later, I'll get to it. My gosh. One issue is narrative complexity. The fourth Ice and Fire book, A Feast of Crows, introduced several new characters and major storylines to an already highly intricate tale. Martin was soon switching perspectives between 21 rival viewpoint characters, each with their own dedicated series of chapters, yet still famous. Let's see. Where's it at? Even the thing is, okay, here we go. When the pandemic hit, Martin tried going to a literal cabin in the woods to finish winter. That was a prolific stretch. He says, resulting in many new chapters, but it took him away from his longtime partner, Paris McBride. Basically, he's just finding every reason in the world for not writing. And even Martin's forced isolation effort ran into creative troubles. I wrote a Tyrion chapter I just loved. Then I looked at it and said, I can't do this. It'll change the whole book. I'll make this into a series of dreams. No, that doesn't work either. I asked Martin if he's ever considered simply giving up the book. It's your life, George, I say. You don't have to spend it working on something if you find it torturous. I would hate that, he says. I would feel like a total failure. I want to finish. Handing the project to another writer, which some fans have lobbied for him to do, isn't going to happen, Martin says. There is also no secret contingency plan for somebody else to take over if Martin gets struck by lightning. If that happens, my work won't be finished, he says. It'll be like The Mystery of Edwin Drood, referring to Charles Dickens' unfinished final novel. How much further does he have to go? Martin's vague. If I wound up doing everything in my head, this would be the longest book in the series. After asking Martin repeatedly about wins, seemingly more than he'd like, the author did what he does best. He tells a story. In 1975, he met Dune author Frank Herbert at a book convention, and they shared a drink. This meeting was near the end of Herbert's life. Martin says, it was near the end of Herbert's life, Martin says. Herbert had written many acclaimed novels, but all fans seemed to want more Dune. Herbert's publisher had just offered him a modest advance for a story he wanted to write, or 6 times that number for another Dune novel. He didn't like Dune anymore, and he didn't want to write another Dune book, Martin says, but he felt locked into the success of Dune, so he kept writing them. Martin finishes and waits. I asked, do you relate to how Herbert felt? He says, I'm not necessarily tired of the world of Ice and Fire. I love that world and the world bidding, but yes, I do. I think the article keeps going. And I think he's just tired. I think he's tired and he's coming up with reasons not to write. Every writer does that. I do that. Let's check in with the chat. Good morning, Lord Angie. Feels so sad for George. He does feel kind of trapped into a corner, and the corner he's put himself into. Backyard TARDIS. Maybe they could show him drinking milk right from the cow's teat. Ensign Loki. He's such a whiny girl. Josie. Sounds like he was just using George to get into a position where he could ignore him. That sounds about right. And I kind of see it from both sides. I do respect and appreciate the fact that CONDAL has to make this show. But he's also not the one who created these things. These are Martin's babies, and he does have to appreciate that. He has to extend some kind of respect in a way. He's just seeing it as this is just content. And George did sell it. He did sell it in 2007. And I feel like maybe he should have been a little bit more what's the word? Like, he should have looked in the future a little bit more. He should have envisioned that a little bit more. Like, how would I feel if they don't, take my notes? If they don't appreciate my characters? How would I feel about that? This is kind of a situation where he made this choice 20 years ago, and now here we are. It's yeah. Omari. Martin could have finished Winds of Winter years ago and enjoyed the rest of his days at Casterly Rock. No one blames him but himself. That line was kind of funny. I watched that show. Yeah, that was great. I love Dark Winds. It's a great show. And yeah, it was an absolutely great scene. It's Redford and Martin in a jail cell. And I knew exactly what it was meant. And thank you very much, Jesus is Goat. Thank you. And Lieutenant Dom, this is like talking to a 16-year-old wannabe author. Ensign Loki, maybe if he stopped doing interviews, he'd have more time. Are you so full of yourself to compare yourself to Herbert? I mean, come on now. George R. R. Martin is a pretty incredible author. He's done something pretty incredible. There are worse things in life than not finishing a book. There are. But if he really wants to finish it, he can. He just has to discipline himself. And he is getting older. It's that thing we were talking about. When you get older, your faculties do slip some. That's part of aging. Your brain ages with you. I mean, knock on wood, I age like my grandmother because that woman's almost 90 and she's smart as a tack. I swear. I can't get anything past that woman. Good Lord. She's amazing. But he is older. He does have some health issues. And, dealing with obesity, that does affect your brain. We are finding there are some issues. And having 21 different characters that you're having, and if you've never read one of the books of A Song of Ice and Fire, I do have Dance of Dragons right over there. He flips back and forth. Each chapter is from the perspective of one character. And everyone's a main character at different points in the book. That's how he's written it. So he's kind of written himself into a corner. I can only imagine what he has to do to keep track. I have spreadsheets and dry erase boards, and Carol makes fun of me on my dry erase board. She's like, you need to get a tablet. And I'm like, well, food's important, but also I like to be able to see it like right there and then draw. And I have like Venn diagrams and lines and to keep myself on task and track of what I'm doing. And right now, I really don't have that many antagonists and that going on, right? He's got 21 main characters that he's trying to keep track of. And at this point, what is he, 77 years old? 77 years old. And he lives by himself. He is, and all these distractions that he has, he's created those himself. He doesn't want to finish this book. I think there's a lot of factors here. I'm hearing a fear, I think, of finishing it. I think there's a fear of finishing the book. What if nobody likes it? Listen to what he was saying about writing the chapters. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, I can't do this. he's very afraid. He's very afraid of how it will be received. He's very afraid of it can't be worse than season 8. And I think that's a huge factor. I think that is a huge factor in his fear of finishing this book, is how badly Game of Thrones ended and how badly it was received. And he flat out says, my book will be totally different. It will end totally different than season 8. And remember, Dan and Dave, DB, went around saying, well, he already told us how it was going to end, so we did what he said. And now he's like, nope. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. And now he's afraid he's being pushed out entirely. Honey, you shouldn't have sold it. That's what happens. You shouldn't have sold it. So I think for him, he's created all these other distractions to make what he thinks are justifiable excuses to not sit and complete this project. That's what he's doing. He's like, see, they're saying mean things to me. That one fan, and that was kind of a nasty thing to say. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're getting older. You're not in the greatest health. I mean, come on. You're getting older. What are your plans? You're not being very disciplined with your writing process. You seem to be struggling. What are your plans? That is a legitimate question. He didn't go about it very politely. Fair. But what are your plans? But he's definitely using this to justify his own inaction. Lieutenant Dom, Lieutenant Films and Fiction. He should just admit he can't do it and pass it on. And that is going to be one of the hardest things he will ever do in his life. He created this world. He created it. And I listen to him. He has an ego. He has an ego. And that ego is not going to allow him to say he can't do something, especially with the thing that he created. Lieutenant Backyard TARDIS. I feel like they would be more willing to follow Martin's story if he would make it in a timely manner, but to constantly have to rewrite scripts to match his invisible roadmap. That is a very good point. Thank you for that. Josie, I can't talk. I'm writing 3 books and I haven't finished and I have no idea if I ever will. Dude, writing is as hard as you make it. I'm going to be honest. And sometimes it's pretty hard because you've made it really hard. I make it really hard on myself all the time. I'm a pain in the ass. And for him, whatever his process works for him, that's what he needs to be doing. But for me, I have to have quiet. I have to have 0 interruptions. And for someone who has the money and the fame and the respect that he does, there's no reason why he can't turn off the phone, let everyone know his schedule. I've let my entire family know my schedule. And they know when I'm writing, leave me the fuck alone. Do not take me out of that world. Unless someone's bleeding to death or the house is on fire, you do not bother me. Do not take me out of it. I am in the zone. Don't take me out. But for someone to have the money and the resources, amenities at his disposal, there's no reason why he can't afford a locking door and turning phones and communications off. He's operating on a DOS computer that's not connected to the internet. All he has to do is leave the smartphone in another room and lock the door. He is creating obstacles for himself. He is creating distractions for himself, and he is justifying them. This is Psych 101. He doesn't want to finish the book. He will never finish the book. I feel bad for this man. I wish he would have had children because I think he would have finished the book. I do. He said it himself. These books, these characters are his children. And I feel like he feels if he finishes the Song of Ice and Fire series, then he will be saying goodbye to his children. Poor man. Poor man. Poor man. Leave your questions, comments, emotional outbursts in the chat. We got to wrap things up. I got to record a vlog for my patrons, my Patreon members about my comic book. And then I got some comic book writing to do myself. Yeah. Show of hands. Who didn't know I was writing a comic book? If you would like to help support the channel, before I choke on my own spit. Josie didn't know. Josie didn't know. Josie, would you like to see? No, you don't want to know. It's okay. It's on the channel. You can see the bumper on the channel. But it's a grisly family tragedy that reveals more to a set of twins, more than just trauma. Their eyes are open to a world of superpowers, the supernatural, and family secrets that not only hold the keys to what happened that night, but also to protect the world as we know it. Vampires, Greek myths, and more weapons and a prosthetic leg that James Bond has in an Aston Martin. And you can be a part of this journey with me. You can help support the comic, help get it made. I'm an indie comic creator. I do not have like a publisher backing me in any way. I don't have like, an advance or anything. I have to do this all myself, and I'm a poor lady. So you go to patreon.com/comicsand, and there are 4 different levels starting at $3 a month, and each different tier, each different rank gets you different behind the scenes access. For instance, the mid tier to highest tier get access to my weekly vlogs where I sit down, nothing flashy, fancy, or splashy, and I sit and tell you what I'm working on that week, all the good stuff. This week I'll be talking about how I got an artist, Mr. Evan Scale from Ripiverse, artist for Dirty Deeds. Yes, who's also that book's also written by my editor, Caro Brown. So hop on over, patreon.com/comicsand, and join the hunt. Become part of my comic book. Please and thank you. Because now I have to get rid of my nails and eyelashes in order to afford my comic book. But if you would like to help support the channel, the comic book, and other things, the greatest way to do that, other than joining my Patreon right now, please and thank you, is by hitting the like button, subscribing if you're new, and ringing the notification bell, making sure you have it set up to receive all notifications for everything I do so you don't miss out on any more of this nerdy nonsense. There's also joining the channel, joining the channel as a member. We have a few different tiers ready to go for you. And there's all kinds of perks, like you get early access to all my drops. I am recording a Lobo breakdown this weekend, and that will be available for members as soon as I'm done. You'll get to see that up to a week before the public gets to. We also have emojis and gifts that only channel members get to use. We have our own little community over on YouTube. We also have our own Discord server, and on Thursdays we have watch parties, and it's super fun, and you should join us. So check that out. Join as a member. There's also super chats, super stickers, super thanks, and they're super appreciated. This is a transactional love, and if you leave me a super, I will return that love with one of my little clips because I think they're cute and they're funny, and I want to show you my love. So I'll give you a clip in return. So there's that. There's also this QR code right here. It takes you to buymeacoffee.com/comics and MUA, where you can chip in as little or as much as you like. And that also helps me literally keep the lights on here and helps me afford my artist for the comic book. There's also Cash App, $ Danielle Sanssouci, same deal. Helps me keep lights on and helps me pay artists. Hot dog at Diggity Dog. Don't forget patreon.com/comics and I don't know why I did that. There's comicsandcosmetics.etsy.com. That is my official merch store. Hundreds of designs inspired by all your nerdy loves, created by yours truly, slapped on any product you could possibly imagine. Coffee mugs, tumblers, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, purses, dresses. I mean, there are candles. There are candles. There are prayer candles. Mother Comics is here for you. Go to comicsandcosmetics.etsy.com to help support the channel. I'm also an affiliate for a few different things, and that's all in the description as well. So check that out. Again, I'm pretty sure whoever clicks on TikTok and CapCut disappears into the ether because no one has followed my instructions and clicked on a link and then come back to tell me what they do. I still don't know what they do. So I'm just going to assume that you guys disappear into the ether. There's also my website, comics-and.com, where you can discover everything I have just told you about. All of my socials. Polly says my website sucks, but that's fine. I don't have a lot of time. And I'm one person. I'm a one-woman show here. My website has my reviews, all of my looks, my special effects looks, all that stuff. If you want to see all the special effects looks and looks that I've put together over the many years, go check that out. There's also some information about myself and a bunch about the channel. So go to comics-and.com to learn more about that. And this podcast is powered by the Red 5 Network. We are a collective of exclusively nerdy podcasters and content creators here to educate and entertain you. So if you like this podcast, chances are you're going to love more of what the Red 5 Network has to offer you. So check out red5.bio.link today to discover more what the Red 5 family has to offer you. Hello, Top. And I'm saying goodbye. I'm saying goodbye. I know work is a thing, right? It's such a thing. It's such a thing. You can catch the rewatch though. It's okay. Just leave a comment. Make sure you leave comments, guys. That's really important. We're in an engagement driven algorithm. So you have to leave comments on videos. Listen, Josie's amazing at that. Josie's fantastic at it. So she's great. So is Penny. Penny, Josie, Jaden, I see you. You're good. You're very good. But that's all I got for you nerds this week. If you want more, go over to the Patreon. Yep, because there's more. There's more. I will see you Monday. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Stay nerdy, babies, and support indie comic creators. Keep your eyes peeled because even though she's not in charge,
Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are gonna get you!